So thanks for attending this session, which will be dedicated to present you some Nocode showcases. So I'm very pleased to share this session with Caroline and Baptiste. So just to introduce myself, I'm a co-founder and head of sales at Cube. So Cube is a French Nocode startup product studio. Sorry, we work with startups, but also corporates, and we launch products, so essentially web apps, and we use essentially Nocode to build our products. So maybe before starting on the demos, Caroline, Baptiste, if you can introduce yourself. Maybe we can start with you, Caroline, and move forward with your demo.
Hello, thank you so much for the invitation. So I'm Caroline Egal, I'm co-founder of Maia-Be, the other co-founder, I'm not just sitting over there. And we are a retail tech agency, and I will be very happy to show what we have built thanks to Nocode solutions. We will see that it's a SaaS platform dedicated to retail and sales managers. So it's a B2B platform that we manage with Nocode solutions in partnership with Palo.
Thank you, Caroline. And hello everybody. So my name is Baptiste. I'm part of Unlock, so I co-founded Unlock and I'm running Unlock, which is a Nocode studio into EY Fabernovel. And I will present all this ecosystem very soon because I will start this showcase. So,
you prefer to
let me try to do it. So let's start with a quick presentation of our ecosystem and how we did Nocode in Fabernovel and Unlock. So Unlock, as I told you, is a Nocode studio into EY Fabernovel ecosystem. We love to say to our client that Fabernovel, with Fabernovel, we help our customer, our client, to make or to create new opportunities. So Faber make and Novel new opportunities. And we launched Unlock, the Nocode studio, 1 year ago now, a year ago, so happy birthday to us. And we launched the studio because we believe, one, that Nocode offers the opportunity to employees to develop their own ideas, which in the past wasn't possible because of lack of budget, of time, of skills. You already know it. And secondly, our clients, or most of them, were aware of Nocode, or most, and they wanted to know more about it. So we launched this studio. To understand better this ecosystem, you can see Unlock, which is here, Fabernovel part, Unlock part of Fabernovel, Fabernovel part of EY, and you will get it why. So Unlock is between 5 to 10 employees with more than 250 clients. And in Unlock, as I told you, we are part of Fabernovel, and Fabernovel is 350 employees. So it's again digital consulting company which has been created in 2003. With more than 250 clients. That's why Unlock has 250 clients, because we are part of Fabernovel, in fact. And lucky with that, many of our clients are big or large companies. Since July, we are now part of EY. So now we are EY Fabernovel. And EY, as you maybe already know, is more than 300,000 employees with a lot of different clients. So you understand the ecosystem is huge, and that's why we are again working with many big companies. Very quick, in Unlock, we have 3 different pillars to our first. The first one is empowerment pillar, which consists of upskilling collaborators or enterprises. Those from the example of use case that we have done. The second one is innovation. We develop POC and EP, internal application, chatbot, automation, and so on. And the last one is communication tool, when we develop landing pages, websites, or e-commerce website. So let me deep dive for what you are in for, the presentation and the showcase. I will present one showcase that we have done, one project that we have done with L'Oréal and L'Oréal Beauty Tech, to be precise. A bit about context of the project. So we've been working with L'Oréal. Let's say that L'Oréal team contacted us with one goal in mind. They wanted to help collaborators, or to allow, to offer to collaborators the opportunity to create their first application. So quite modern, very nice.
Il reste une. Oh, pardon.
No worries.
Il reste une place. Ah non, il y en a une autre.
So as I told you, the goal in mind was to create or help collaborators to create their first application. One figure to keep in mind, the L'Oréal Beauty Tech is almost 2,000 employees, so it's 1,800 employees, so it's quite large. And the stack tool that we have to work with was mainly Power Platform, so Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI, and also AppSheets, because they wanted to try AppSheets in the same time. Last figure, the project took 4 to 5 months and finished in March this year. So how we did with that, or how we did that? The roadmap, the first phase was the framing one. So the L'Oréal team created a lot of different content, so we had to review it and to challenge the content in the framing part. The second phase was developing one, because we developed all the content that has been missing in the first phase, and at the same time we developed many applications, and I will talk about it later, in order to upskill collaborators. And the last one was the deployment. Not the easiest one, but very nice one, because we deployed all the project to the 2,000 collaborators, almost 2,000 collaborators. So let me focus on the different phases. First one, as I told you, it was the framing one. Nice. So the framing one, as I told you, L'Oréal, they already create many contents. So we help them to identify and classify all the different content by level of difficulty. And in the same time, we challenge, as I told you, many contents. Because in this, let's say, phase, we saw that the content wasn't enough in order to upskill collaborators, and wasn't easy to understand what you have to do in order to upskill yourself and try to create your first application. So in this part,
is it knowledge management? No?
Part of.
Okay.
Yeah, part of. And I will talk about it later, because we develop a SharePoint as well, so we have to classify everything, and so part of. Three main focuses on this phase. The first one, obviously, was framing, as I told you. Second one, designing, and hopefully we have a great design team, so you can see some great design on the slide as well. I'm really bad for slide and design.
You did not use the template.
I got some help with that. And the last one was content. Here you can see some results. We try, to create, let's say, an engagement, in the community. So they had to always follow the same banner, the same design, and all this design we share it, with the communication in order to make some teasing and so on. So here are some design points. Second phase, development one. So I told you they create many contents, but it was missing some content. So one part of the development one was to create some content, obviously. So when I said that, it was guideline, it was starter kit, how to deal with Power Apps, how you can manage with Power BI and so on. And this was one part, content one, and the other part was application. So we developed some application, 3 applications in fact. 2 of the 3 applications, let's try to focus, it's a bit tough, but 2 of the 3 applications were in order to acculturate collaborators. But there are no any goal than acculturate collaborators, and they could redevelop the application if they liked it, because we develop or we create in the same time guideline. The last one, I will talk about it later, but the last one was a challenge app idea. So this focus, I'm sorry for that, I will try to, yeah, you can click it. So all those, let's say, screenshots that you can see is either some application that we develop or some content that we develop as well. So here, for example, is the, I will talk about it now, let's say that it's the challenge idea app. So I told you two 2 or 3 applications were for Accurate, and the other one was the challenge idea app. The challenge idea app has been developed on Power Apps, and the idea of this challenge idea app was to help collaborators to submit their own ideas in order to develop them. Once they submit their own ideas, they had the possibility, to vote and share for their favorite ideas. So here is a screenshot when they will submit their project. You can next one, please. Here is an example of the SharePoint. I talk about it very fast because we had to deal with the ecosystem. We haven't used any other tool, but we had to use SharePoint in order to classify and centralize all the different data. Here, the last screenshot in this part. It's another example, Budgeter app. I told you 2 of the 3 applications were for Accurate. This one was for Accurate. It's just an application Budgeter app in order to follow your budget internal investment. And if you liked it, you wanted to use it, you could redevelop it with guidelines step by step. And Power Apps again. Last phase, deployment. So we deploy all the program to the 1,800 employees. And as you can see here is just the back office of the Power App application, the Challenge Idea app, where all the ideas were stored. On this part, you can see some other screenshots. So here is the Challenge Idea app. You can do next. Here is the SharePoint one with many different contents, so starter kit and so on. And this is almost the end. The key metrics and achievements of the project. So for the key metrics, obviously the audience, because we talk or we try to acculturate less than 2,000 employees. So it was quite a nice figure for that. Other figure that other key metrics, let's say that we developed 3 different applications. In fact, we tried to develop more than that, but we stopped at 3 applications for acculturation. 26 application ideas was part of the call for ideas, sorry. More than 600 votes on common ideas, so there was a kind of emulation, and not everybody obviously were talking about it, but a lot of different people were talking about it and discover what is Nocode and what you could do with Nocode. And the last one, now, 3 applications are in the process of going to scale. So, in summary, I will just say that we can deal, or we can implement Nocode in a big company. We heard a lot of different stories, in either startup, PMO, or a small company, but we can deal as well with a big company. There is still a lot of work to do, hopefully, for us, for everybody. But yeah, there is a big potential with Nocode in big company, and that's all. And thank you for your attention.
Now we will move forward with our startup use case with Maia-Be. We will try to keep some time at the end to answer questions.
So what I will share today is really my first experience with Nocode. And before sharing with you some details about the platform we managed to develop with Nocode tools, I will give you a little bit of context about Maia-Be, what we do at Maia-Be, what it has been created, and what issues we are solving for brands. Okay? You probably observe it that brands, and especially more premium and luxury ones, want to create more and more emotional experiences for their customers. And this is a really good news because you all know that customer experience has a huge impact on business performance. Okay? The only thing is that until now, they still use quite traditional indicators, traditional measurement system, such as the NPS, the Net Promoter Score. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's your propension, your propension to recommend a brand. So it's a simple question. It's quite good at evaluating, at measuring transactional experiences. but it's not good enough to measure and to understand emotional experiences, and also it's not really operational. And it is something that you can hear from many CX and retail managers, that it gives the temperature, it gives you the temperature, but it does not say to you what you have to act on, what you have to do based on this indicator. Okay, so that's the overall context, and so the brands, the premium and luxury brands have a clear objective. They want to create emotional experiences for their customer, but they have some limitation regarding the tools they have today. Okay, and it is especially challenging for them because you all know also that the context is the global environment is more and more complex because customer journeys are now totally omnichannel, totally hybrid between offline and online. You already know also that the Gen Z, the new generation, is very demanding regarding brands in terms of authenticity, transparency, but also in terms of experience. And the last thing is that there is a huge turnover among sales advisors in stores. So so it's clear that brands cannot rely only on human resources, but they need some tools. Okay, so that's the overall context and the challenge, and that's exactly why we created with Alto Maia-Be when a little bit than 1 year, more than 1 year ago. And so, what is our ambition at Maia-Be? Our ambition is to make every moment in a store or online memorable and for customers. So every customer live moments that matters for him. Okay, for her. So it's really our ambition, and our mission. Concretely, what we do is that we deliver empowering tools to managers so they can concretely act on this customer experience to accomplish this ambition of creating a moment that matters for their customers. Okay, so that's the overall context, and we decided for this to deliver operating tools. We decided to build a SaaS platform, okay, a B2B SaaS platform that collects customer feedbacks, analyze this emotional data coming from customers, and deliver concrete action plans. So really an end-to-end solution. And building such a product was a little bit challenging for us because we are not coming from the tech field. We are both coming from the market research field. So it was quite complicated. And to be honest, at the beginning we were not so confident and not very at ease, especially because the first tech experts, it's not we spoke with, explained to us that we are supposed to develop a full platform in code, and that it will take time and we will have to spend a lot of money. Okay, so it was not really good news for us, especially because even the first part, writing the specification was quite impossible for us to do, as we were not talking the same language at all than these experts. But hopefully we were at the Willa incubator. Willa is the incubator for female in tech. And we are very lucky, and we are very lucky and grateful for these experts because they help us on two things. First thing, they help us in reshaping our needs. And clearly, our needs were not to develop a full platform with all the functionalities and totally finalized, but it was to get to MVP quite quickly, so we can test it ASAP with one of our clients. So first thing, and the second thing is that they introduced us to Q, and from the starting point, things went much better. And also we are grateful and lucky with Willa, but we also have been lucky in terms of timing, because I think that the same week we were starting our collaboration with Thomas' team, we signed a first client project with a very famous fashion sportswear brand. So it was really a good week, and we started to work on a first MVP. Okay? And so yes. Oh. So first MVP, and what was good with the collaboration with Cube is that we had a phase before development, which is a conception. So we were very reassured by this process. It can appear a little bit rigid at the beginning, but at the end, the conception phase was very valuable for us because it enabled us to have something really in line with what was relevant for our business and for our clients. And the team was really good at understanding our needs and our clients' needs, of course, but also to translate them into relevant visualization. So we started by the consumer interface because, as you understood, I hope, the entry point of our solution is the collect of customer feedback. So that's why we started by this consumer interface, and so you can see that first it's customizable according to the brand identity. Second, it's really user friendly and visually engaging, and also because we know that customers are not ready to answer a lot of questions, we decided to have a very short questionnaire. It's only 4 questions, mixing open-ended question and closed ones. So that's why for the first part of our platform, so the consumer interface, and then we move to the full platform, so end-to-end platform, including not only the consumer interface, but also the brand interface, and of course it's the most valuable part of our solution because our clients are brands. Concretely, our clients are CX and retail managers, can be also marketing or CMI teams. Okay? So what I will show you some characteristic and functionalities of this brand interface. So the first characteristic is that it's omnichannel, so it fits it addresses the challenge of omnichannelity. You can so gather on the same platform data from what happened in your stores and what happened on your shop. The second thing is that you have a customized view according to type of users. So typically, if you are at the headquarters, or if you are in a store, or if you are you belong to the e-com team, you do not have the same use the same access to the dashboard. Other particularities of our brand interface is that our dashboard is visually consistent with emotional data. It was really important for us that we have something that visually fits with the philosophy we want for us and for the brands we work for. So that's why you have a score, but you also have a nice air balloon coming up and coming down according to your performances. Okay, and you see some score, you see some spider charts, so some data. But what is important also for you to note is that behind all is structured according our algorithm. So it means that it's not only flat sorting, but you have an algorithm behind this. So it shows once again how code solutions have no-code solutions have a strong power to deliver quite a complex platform. And of course, because you need insights to act beyond data, data is not enough. In our dashboard, in our brand interface, you have insights to understand your performance. Where does it come from? What are the drivers of your experience? You have also insight about the type of your profile customer, so the type of profile of customer you have. And you have also, of course, all the verbatims collected through the open-ended question. Okay? And as Nocode is clearly about agility, we are already working on the next step, and the next step will be the integration of action plan. Today we deliver action plan, but more on a consultancy way, because it's not already embodied in our platform. But it is the next step, and we are quite confident that it will work. So, and I hope the Cube team is confident too regarding this. But I'm sure. So as you understand, we are very happy with this, everything it happened on this Nocode project, because we had MVP in 3 weeks and a full platform in 8 weeks. Our solution, so less than 10 months after the first POC we did with this fashion sportswear brand, we have our solution deployed in 3 countries, and it will be in 2 more countries by the end of this year. We have a database today with more than 1,500 customers' feedbacks, and by the end of this year, we will also have more than 250 B2B users, both headquarters people and people from the boutiques, of course, and people from the e-com. So really different profiles of users. And I think that's it.
Thank you. And I would like to congratulate your business executions, especially after the MVP, because it was also challenging for the Cube team to follow the rhythm of technical implementation. Because,
but you help us to reshape our roadmap, to prioritize our needs. So it's also win-win partnership, because I think we learned a lot about our business, but we learned also a lot about product management, product ownership, and roadmaps.
Thank you. So let's move to the last showcase for this session, so the Egal platform. This is one of our clients' project at Cube. We recently released. Our clients couldn't be here attend the meeting today because he's mobilized on other events. But I would like to share for him this use case, because it's quite interesting, because it's quite challenging, and it's mobilized low-code approach for this project. So maybe you are familiar with NFTs or crypto, but basically crypto is a booming industry, and of course inside the business there are recently NFTs, and NFTs are some unique collection of items, and which they have a certificate of authenticity that makes them unique. And in this business, many companies, especially large companies, are looking for solutions to exploit benefit from the NFT opportunity, to send, for instance, some NFTs to their client bases, to thank them for their loyalty, for instance. But NFTs are quite complex. Today, it's quite complex to create, to deliver, and that's how the Airgift startup and project was born, to facilitate the creation and sending of NFTs for companies. It can be considered as the MailChimp for sending group of NFTs if you use the cross-platform in your company. So we helped the startup to launch the first V1 of a project, this innovative, and it was a challenging project, as I said, because it's quite technical, and I will show you today the demo. Fun fact, indeed, the organizers of Nocode Summit sent to the super early bird ticket holder some NFTs out don't know if you were in the list. If it's not, if you were a ticket holder but you did not receive the NFT, you can directly
Right.
I don't know if Maxime is here to handle the bug. So, how the organizers created and sent NFTs directly with the Egal platform, and we'll show you some the process basically to create and to send NFTs from Egal. So, first thing to do, as it's quite the same if you're accustomed with sending blue, it's quite the same process. The first thing to do is to create the marketing campaign, which is considered as this. So, in the SaaS, after creating an account, you have the possibility, there is an onboarding to create new collections that will be sent to users, in which one there are many things to do. You can parameter at first the description, of course, of a campaign, and add some visuals, some logos of your company and of the campaign in question. And the second step, of course, is to import the visuals of the NFTs that will be sent to the user base. So you can import basically a list of visual, or the last feature of a product is to directly build your visual inside the tool. So this is a very essential release in the end. When you import your visuals, you can assign a max supply for each visual, because it will give a number of times that user can mine the NFTs after the same. When the collection is set up, the next step is to add or import beneficiaries. Three ways to do this. The first one, manually. You can add address, email, first and surname, or you can import a list via CSV of users that will be the beneficiaries of the campaign. We also, there are some works to create some APIs to also connect external systems to import the users. When the campaign is set up, next step is to customize the emails that will receive different beneficiaries. And we created a fully custom email configurator, both for the first email, which is sent the first time we release the campaign, and also you can configure a reminder. You can configure, I don't know, maybe 5 days after the release. If the users do not open the mail, you can remind. And then you can configure the email contents, adding a subject and contents, and you can also blur the assets, the image, to create more surprise. So this is a great feature, and it was nice to have, but finally I think it's great for marketing purposes. but that not work for this example, because there were two types of assets for the NCS, the gold one and the regular, but here we can already know that we are not the winner of the gold tickets. So, when we customize, after customizing the emails, next step is to launch the comment, so validate, of course, that everything is okay, and go back, and launch, of course, before you have to pay some credits. So business model is only to you buy some credits, and one credit is equal to one NFT set, so it's quite fair. And when it's released, the beneficiaries will receive the emails, and they can after mint the NFTs. For the company, we created a fully functional dashboard with some metrics and indicators to follow its campaign. So again, it's quite similar to what you can find on Mailchimp or something. So the number of beneficiaries of the campaign, number of emails sent, number of open emails also, we track this one, this action. And the last one, which is quite important, is the number of NFT retrieved. So NFT that has been minted by the user and added to their wallet, blockchain wallet. So this is for the, I would say, the company. And for users, they receive an email with a call to action, and they get, there is a call to action to redirection to a page. In which one they can access to their NFT, which is unique. and they can mint it and so add to their wallet on blockchain, so they can connect directly through the app to MetaMask or Wallet Connect, and retrieve their unique NFT. So in the context of the Nocode Summit, 5 lucky ticket holders have received a gold NFT and get free ticket for the next edition. Is there a winner here? Sorry. And you are congratulated to receive this. So it can be used.
Can you sell it?
Sell it?
Yeah.
After you can do it, but of course there is a notion of value behind it. I don't know, maybe the first edition, the first NFT edition will be in the future an important thing. we will see. So as a conclusion, for this project, which is quite large and quite technical, because we implemented basically, as you may understand, some external APIs to. So basically, the platform was built with Google with the local approach, but we integrated some external APIs. First, one postmark for emailing, because we create a custom-made emailing service to send multiple emails at once. And for the NFT minting, we use also a solution, because of course with the Nocode, we will always try to find if there is a solution to integrate and not to try to recode on top of Bubble if it's not necessary. And in the case of NFT meetings, this is quite complex. There are some components that we will the design phase. So we built it. We designed the platform and the product design in 4 weeks, and after we developed the project in 5 weeks, which is quite challenging again for this type of project. Apart from the Nocode Summit event, the platform I cannot disclose today, but it's currently experimented by some great players, especially marketing services, to experiment and to test it with their client base or part of their client base. So that's it. We have remaining time, so if you have questions on different use cases. Yes?
Yeah. At the beginning of such a project, for example, how do you, or like, how much time do you take to assess feasibility, or what do you do to assess feasibility? So, like, to see whether this can actually build with your approaches, or whether you would potentially run into roadblocks at some point.
Yeah. So for this type of project, we have first phase, which is discovery and scoping phases, and but we will do both product design, scoping, and design, design finally of UI. And this phase will allow us to really understand the scope and the final development scope that we will integrate after. So this first step is essential, of course, to the good idea of the development needs.
And how long does that typically take you? Like, is that
4 weeks.
this okay?
Yeah.
On the 4 week, you have the test of Venly for NFT, or
yeah, sure. We do a technical investigation to make sure that Venly is the right solutions for this. But also there is a matter of cost also for our clients. And the business plan, we need to figure out the best solution. So this perspective. Yeah.
So it's a question for Maia-Be.
Yes.
You, from the idea that you had, then, from my understanding, Cube developed the tool.
Yes.
Is now the idea that you own the tool and you're going to tweak it and use it? Or are you still having this relationship where if you need expansion and developments?
Yes. At this stage, we still need extensions and we still need a partnership with Cube. You are in the management of the product. We are autonomous. I manage the campaigns for the clients. I export the data from the database or from the dashboard. But each time we do some evolution, for the moment, we are still with Cube because we are not tech people. They do it very well, and we prefer to be concentrated on the art of our business. Maybe one day we'll be happy to have someone internally to to manage this type of features, but for the moment, it's still an external partnership. We do not do any evolution by ourselves.
But I think it's a great question. We have also the skill how to train Nocode team after the first V1 build. So some of our clients managing their project by themselves or with some of Nocode development team. Not always the case. I would say it's half-half.
But your organization enables this option because you have a project manager and coordinating.
Will you stay on the web in the couple of years, or if you want to scale up?
We will test Bubble for our model integration of model statistic. We hope. The only thing is that the big risk with Bubble, to be honest, is that they triple their prices. We are in a B2B business, so to be honest, for today, as it is today, Bubble is really cheap for us compared our business. But of course, I know that Webflow increased a lot their prices. Typically, Bubble could do the same. So it could raise the question of can we stay on Bubble or do we have to move on other tools? But it's also the job of the agency to recommend and to update us about no-code solutions that are more valuable, or if we need some API, etc.
But from our perspective, we think that those type of projects, especially B2B products, can be scaled with Bubble without any problem because we do not have hard limits scaling the app. For B2C, can be challenging, but we have some examples also. B2C marketplaces with many visitors per month, and it stays stable on Bubble. But yeah, it can be a matter. This is a great question, but in general, we discuss it maybe 1 year, 1.5 years after the launch.
I definitely agree with that. Just a question on the question regarding the governance, where we started at because with Bubble, and obviously the question is coming soon. When you work with B2B company, is there any question regarding this governance?
What we do not collect personal data because all identification codes we collect are encrypted. So we cannot recognize the person which is behind its back. But we have this unique identification code. So at the end we can the brand, so our client can match it. Can match. But we do not own any personal data. And that's also something quite important regarding Bubble. When you use Bubble, it's preferable not to personal data.
Yeah, regarding GDPR with
yes,
Europe,
yes.
it's on the roadmap. We hope so. It's right soon.
I have a question regarding the email service Postmark and the business model of that platform. Did you had to develop the protection when one brand or one client of AirGift would just use it for email spam? And in the sense of, do you have some form of atomization of the IP and the score of emailing, or every client or of AirGift and would share the same email score, and we cross fingers for that no one of the clients of AirGift is a spammer with email?
Today, I think it's a solution.
Yeah, cross fingers. No, because it's always, it's always a subject that.
But I think they will not spam through AirGift because the business model is.
One email per NFT and the credits.
Pay for example, you send 100 NFTs.
It costs you a credit.
Yeah, indeed.
But maybe not for AirGift in particular, but in general, how do you tackle the fact that you are giving email powers to a brand that might just assume that it's free for all, and there is this IP or reputation to maintain if your server is being flagged as this spam, at some point all the other clients get also a fictitious email service.
Yeah, maybe I'm not sure of what you answer, but I think we, for most of the project, we create a custom account, especially for Postmark for clients. So the email will be flagged. This will be the responsibility of the brand, of the company. Of
Okay,
our
so
brands,
there is
not
this.
our servers or.
No, of course not Bubble, not Cube, maybe not even AirGift, but my question is at the level of inside the SaaS. All parts are very pointy question.
We have this issue in our project when we send some email to our clients, which is again the big companies, or large companies. When we use MailChimp, for example, even if we have a pro account and we code and we're about to say, okay, please let's use only one server for us because other company may spam or we don't know. We will be or we are flagship for that. They just answer to us that in our pro accounts we share with 4 different companies servers. They restrict the access and they may some check in order to do flag to don't have some people who may spam and so on. So no commercial company. But still, if you want to have the let's say the server by yourself with MailChimp at least, it's another
level of service.
Yeah, level of service. It costs a lot, and they told us that you have to send around 1 million email per month, which doesn't consistent with our business. So.
It's always the same question. Yes, yes, there is some perfect premium corporate service, but then you don't want to pay that, and then you want to share it. But if you share with someone that is unresponsible.
Right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bah oui, mais au début.